And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Also on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, the Pundit Press, PNN Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio with the Conservative Syndicate every Monday and Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, on today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. On today's special segments, Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman will be talking about wireless technology and new deals that are out there. And our own Ray Mailer talks about traffic congestion on the American grid. You don't want to miss that. Now, I want you to stand by for news. And before we do that, I want you to know that at 3:03 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently, get this, 57 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Man, I want to tell you, that compared to the 100 degrees and the 90 degrees and stuff that we've had, 57 degrees is unbelievable. The low's going to go down to 40 degrees. So, give that some thought for a minute. But right now, I want to talk to you about the 10 things that you need to know for today, Wednesday. Your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that will be talked about all day today. Now, first up is how militants navigated beneath the Iraqi town. Video footage shows a complex network of tunnels stocked with U.S.-made ammunition and plenty of supplies carved into rock underneath Sinjar. Well, an officer charged with murder in a fatal shooting of Chicago teen. The charges come hours before the city released police dash cam video that showed Laquan McDonald being shot 16 times. Yeah, twice in the back, by the way. And Turkey shoots down a Russian military jet. Ankara says the plane was in its airspace, which Russia denies, and NATO appeals for calm on both sides. And Minneapolis police arrest suspects in the shootings of protesters. Authorities arrest a white man and 2 others, turn themselves in as those demanding justice for a black man fatally shot by officers vow not to back down. And where the Clintons have earned $35 million since 2001. Hillary Rodham Clinton and Bill Clinton earned the money, giving 164 speeches to financial, real estate, and insurance firms. Next up, what else the organizer of the Paris attacks was planning? The Paris prosecutor says the alleged mastermind of the November 13th attacks was likely plotting a suicide bombing to be carried out in the city's business district. And why governments, tech experts clash over cell phone security. Some of the same measures that protect their privacy complicate intelligence agencies' tracking of potential threats. Then, most travelers on the road for Thanksgiving since 2007. An estimated 46.9 million Americans will be taking cars, planes, buses, or trains over the holiday weekend, fueled by cheap gas prices. Then, New York City Church finds surprising sight in a nativity scene manger. A custodian discovers a newborn baby crying in the manger outside. The baby's in good health as police search for its parents. And then finally, Johnny Manziel was once a starter is now a third stringer. The Cleveland Browns benched the quarterback after video surfaces showing him holding champagne and rapping profane lyrics. Yep. Well, let's get into a little more in-depth stuff so you can get an idea of what's really going on. Let's talk about the latest, the UK envoy. Jet downing must spur an end to the Syria war. You know, the latest on the war in Syria, including a Russian warplane shut down by Turkey, is what we're going to talk about here. Britain's United Nations ambassador says Turkey's downing of a Russian fighter jet must lead to redoubled efforts to end the Syrian conflict. Matthew Rycroft told reporters in New York on Wednesday, or that's today actually, that the longer the conflict goes on, the more scope there is for these sorts of incidents to happen, and they are very, very dangerous. He said the way to end the conflict is by implementing the 2012 Geneva communique calling for a transitional government in Syria, and the way to speed this is through the Vienna talks involving almost or about 20 key parties which have spurred some momentum. Rycroft said a lot of work is taking place on defining terrorism, uniting the opposition, preparing for a ceasefire, and who would monitor it ahead of the next round of talks in December. Well, time will tell, right? Israel's tourism ministry is investing an extra $2.6 million to attract Russian tourists after the crisis in Egypt and Turkey. Well, they're not so dumb, are they? I guess not. And let's see here. How about this? Some military, whoops, I got the wrong doggone thing here. Let's try this one more time. And there we go. Now, preventable errors led to hospital attack, military say. And this is actually, it was reported by Robert Burns and Lynn O'Donnell and Ken Dylanian. And it was reported just today, the U.S. airstrike that killed 31 civilians at a hospital in Afghanistan last month resulted from preventable errors by soldiers and airmen who violated rules of engagement and have been removed from duty while awaiting further investigation, military officials said today. A briefing in Kabul provided the latest U.S. explanation but left some questions unanswered about an attack in which an internationally run hospital was selected to barrages of heavy fire from an AC-130 gunship. Among them, how the attack was ordered in the populated area based on a ground commander's request with little apparent review by higher headquarters. General John Campbell, the top U.S. commander in Afghanistan, said the airstrike was supposed to have been directed at a nearby facility being used as a Taliban command center, but the warplane fired at the wrong building. Well, shame, shame, shame. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we've got more news going on. We're going to give you the latest as far as that Paris hotel business hit hard by attacks, and I'll tell you all about that right after we come back from these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett.
And now on the news, and right now let's talk about the latest. A Paris hotel business hit hard by attacks. Here's the deal, the latest on the attacks in Paris and security alert in Brussels. All times we're going to talk about will actually be local. This started at 9:15 p.m. Occupancy rates at some Paris hotels have plunged by more than 30% in the days since the November 13th attack, according to a company that tracks hotel industry data. STR Global said that compared with the same dates in 2014, occupancy rates were 39% lower last Saturday and 33% lower on Sunday, the two most recent days in the STR report. Restaurants, small shops, department stores, and tourist sites have also been affected. The French government said after a cabinet meeting Wednesday that businesses that had suffered a financial hit could get extensions on tax and loan payments as a means of softening the blow. France is among the world's top tourist destinations. Several museums in Paris closed in the days after the attacks. You know what just seems like when you walk around Paris, if you've ever been or never been, I can tell you that it's not unusual to see armed guards with automatic weapons in pairs on each street corner. So it's a little disheartening when you think about that. But that is what seems to be the normal when we're talking about what's going on in Paris these days. So you know what? A person has just really got to be extremely careful, and that's kind of what's going on today. So you know what? You just gotta use your brain, use your noggin, use your brain and your noggin to know exactly what's happening and what's not happening in the world today. And that's kind of where we're at if you think about what's happening. So you know that's kind of the ball game. And so when we get done with all the rest of this stuff, then that's where we're going to be. All right. So look, let's talk about amid Syria's civil war, a James Bond-style rescue operation. You know what? In the whirlwind of Syria's civil war, two Russian pilots parachuted from their aircraft into a chaotic frontline mountainous region near the border with Turkey after their aircraft was hit by a Turkish F-16 fighter jet. As the two figures tumbled almost serenely out of the sky, they were spotted by Syrian rebels on the ground who opened fire in their direction, hitting the pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Oleg Peshkov, who was dead when he landed in their midst. The co-pilot and navigator, Captain Konstantin Murakin, was luckier. The wind blowing his parachute a few miles closer to the front line, near the government troops. There, amid the chilly ravines, he waited for more than 12 hours until a Syrian commando unit was able to reach him. A look at the complex rescue operation offers a glimpse at the complicated, often rugged terrain in Syria's civil war, where the front lines are blurry. Multiple groups with shifting alliances are fighting on the ground, and the sky is crowded with aircraft bombing various targets. Both Russian airmen ejected after their aircraft was hit by a Turkish jet Tuesday. Turkey said their plane had violated Turkish airspace, a claim Russia has actually denied. Of course, what would they do, right? That's kind of where you would be if you're thinking about those kinds of things anyway. So let's see here. How about this? A Russian crackdown on Muslims fuels an exodus to the Islamic State. And let's see. You know what? Basically, security forces in Russia's southernmost Republic of Dagestan keep devout Muslims under surveillance, routinely raid their homes, and haul them to police stations to give DNA samples and fingerprints. So it was no surprise to many of the village of, let's see if I get this right, Komsomolskoye, that Rashid Magomedov fled to Syria to join the Islamic State group, leaving behind a pregnant wife and 2 children. The 30-year-old had been detained several times, spent 2 months in jail on charges that later were dismissed, and complained that police repeatedly planted weapons at his home as a pretext to an arrest. Yeah. Do you doubt that? No, of course not. How about this? Travelers take to the roads and the skies for Thanksgiving. The big Thanksgiving getaway went into full swing today, with drivers delighted by the lowest November gas prices in years and many airline passengers undaunted by terrorism fears and long lines at security checkpoints. At the White House, President Barack Obama said there is no specific and credible intelligence indicating a plot against the United States, and assured anxious Americans, while the threat of terrorism is a troubling reality of our age, we are both equipped to prevent attacks, and we are resilient in the face of those who would try to do us harm. And that's something we can all be thankful for, he added, as one of the biggest travel periods of the year got underway. Nearly 47 million Americans are expected to take a car, plane, bus, or train at least 50 miles from home over the long holiday weekend, according to AAA. That's the most travelers since 2007, a rise attributed to the improving economy and the cheapest gasoline for this time of year since 2008. Now, having said that, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. And the first case up is a farmer's profit motive makes losses deductible. Yep, and I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live, and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses: website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, General Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. Let's get right to it. The first case, a farmer's profit motive makes losses deductible. Here's the case. Benny Mullins was a successful business owner who grew up on a farm and wanted to return to owning one. He bought a cattle farm and, after semi-retiring, lived and worked on it. The farm incurred steady losses. The IRS said these losses showed it was not being run for a profit, but to shelter income Mullins had received or still received from his business, and disallowed his loss deductions. So Mullins went to court. This is what the judge said. Mullins worked 50 hours a week on the farm, moved to a primitive home located on it to be there to work, consulted with experts, and repeatedly changed farming strategies to improve profitability. All this indicated he did have a profit motive, so his losses were deductible. He got the deductions. The IRS had to pay him the additional refunds, and they had to pay him interest on that. And not only that, they had to pay his court costs. Which, you got to love this stuff, right? Absolutely. This is what makes the world go round. This is fantastic stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? Let's give you another one. President in name only is not liable for the company's unpaid taxes. Sounds strange, right? Well, listen to this. Ellen Marino was the president of a lending company founded by her son, but the business was run by her live-in companion, who was ineligible under state law to be an officer of the company because of his past credit problems. Any tasks Ellen performed for the company, she did under his direction. Now, when the company fell behind on its payroll taxes, the IRS contacted her, and she informed her companion. Eventually, the IRS assessed $76,000 in personal liability against her for the unpaid taxes. She went to court. This is what the judge said. Marino had no real authority over the company's finances, so she was not responsible nor liable for those taxes. You know what? The IRS sometimes is sort of a deep pocket thing, right? Get it from anybody you can or anytime you can. That's their opinion. I'll give you one last one here. The IRS loses. They cannot seize winnings one player wins for another. That's another one that sounds a little strange. Listen to this. Robert Whitlatch devised a system for winning video lottery jackpots. It required playing the same machine for many hours, so he hired Paul Kovach to play a machine for him and gave Kovach all the funds to be wagered. When Kovach hit a jackpot, Whitlatch claimed it, but both the casino and IRS said it was payable to Kovach, the actual player. The IRS then tried to take the entire jackpot to settle Kovach's back tax debts. This is what the judge said. Neither the state gaming law nor the casino's published rules barred one person from playing for another. So the winnings were Whitlatch's, who also collects interest from the IRS for his delay in collecting his winnings. So, you know what? Go figure. That's the way it ought to be, right? Well, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. Well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. Oh, yeah. Now, this is not an actual tax court case, the way we're talking about inside the IRS, but it is things that you need to know, and you can use that for your own planning when you're thinking about how you would deal with the IRS. And first up, let's talk about using an offshore bank. You know, that's a lot of people do. Here's the thing. Individuals who want to maintain offshore bank accounts, the existence of which must generally be disclosed to the IRS on an annual basis, should keep in mind that the IRS can summons the bank to obtain copies of account holders' statements reflecting deposits and withdrawals. Now, there's an exception to this, though. If the offshore bank does not maintain an office in the United States, a motion to quash the summons should be successful. The IRS can enforce a summons in a U.S. district court only if it can show that the summons person or entity resides or is found in the court's geographical jurisdiction. Your best bet? Select an offshore bank with no branch office or business connection, such as an investment banking operation in the United States. Let me give you another one here. You ever try this? When you try to tell the IRS, heads I win, tails you lose. Well, you know what? The courts have held that taxpayers must be guided by a duty of consistency when it comes to taking tax positions concerning the same economic matter at different times. Let me give you an example. The court determined in Conrad Janus that an estate could not take one position with respect to the value of assets when it suited the estate's tax purposes, in this case using a lower discounted value for the gallery of artwork, and then take a contrary position that suited the estate's purposes, and in this case, using a higher fair market value when the artwork was later sold by the beneficiary. The bottom line here, you cannot unfairly beat the IRS with its own rules and regulations. Now, you got to be careful because they're going to always try to unfairly beat you. You can just about bet on it. You know, that's just the way they play the game, and that's the way it's going to be. You know what? I've got time for one more. Let me give it to you. The IRS wants to make sure that you are using the correct website. The Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration, that's TIGTA, has the authority to maintain the integrity of tax administration. In that capacity, TIGTA is working to free the Internet of sites that may sound like that of the IRS, but really aren't. The correct web address for the IRS is www.irs.gov. However, taxpayers who use www.irs.com or www.irs.net and a host of other private commercial sites may wind up paying for services or products that they can get for free on the www.irs.gov site. Check resources on the official IRS site before paying for tax-related information. Now, having said that, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be dealing with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. He's going to be talking about wireless technology and the new deals that are sitting out there. We'll be right back with Joel right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, It may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:33 p.m. Pacific time, currently 58 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 42. But you know what? My good buddy, Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, is waiting in the wings. And just so that you do know, out where he is in Torrance, California, it's 61 degrees and clear. But I'm thinking maybe too late or too cold for this young man to have gotten his feet wet in the ocean like he usually does. Hey, Joel, are you dry or are you wet?
I am dry, and not because it's too cold. It's just the wind was blowing so hard and it's so choppy out there that it didn't look very appetizing.
Hey, listen, I saw a picture of you with a hard hat just recently. What the heck were you doing?
Oh, my God. All my friends asked me the same thing. I had an opportunity to tour the Hyperion sewage station, which is right behind where I surf just about every day. Okay,
so now that brings up a couple of questions. One, you're touring a sewage station, and you're calling that an opportunity. That seems a little strange for me, and the fact that that's also right out behind where you surf every day doesn't sound like an appealing event to me.
Well, let me just say this. If you think it smells bad driving by the Hyperion plant, try driving through the Hyperion plant in a tram.
So do you wind up having your sinuses, drained out with one of those nettle things?
Let me put it this way. I'll send you a picture, but my buddy took a picture of me standing behind, they call it the headwinds, and where everything comes in before they start straining and all that. Where the proverbial, hits the fan.
That's a lot of crap.
I was standing 10 feet away from the fan, and I want to tell you, nothing can prepare your senses for the assault. It was just, we had to abort the mission. It was a 3-hour tour. We did 2 hours of it, and I couldn't handle any more of it.
So you were looking for the Citizens Freedom Medal after that, right? That's just a lot of crap, right?
It's a lot of crap. Let me tell you how much crap it is, Robert. It's 285 billion gallons, which can fill the Rose Bowl 3 times. That's how much sewage they process every 24 hours.
All right, so I have just got to ask you, and I know what on earth enticed you to even want to tour that facility?
That's what all my buddies were asking me, and you know what? To this day, I'm still kind of asking myself. The reason I did it was, and I don't know if you heard, I think we probably talked about this, but a few months back, there were hundreds of tampon applicators along the beach, along with some other foul stuff. And I was curious where this stuff was coming from, and plus there was, some other stuff in the water that it's what you can't see that kills you.
Sure.
But I wanted answers, and I toured with the Heal the Bay group, and they had an opportunity to go in and talk to some of these scientists and learn what's going on back there. So I was just curious as far as, because I surf behind here, how bad is it?
Is that where that was coming from?
Yes, it was all coming from the Hyperion plant. And recently what happened, fortunately when I was in Mexico earlier this month, they were servicing the 5-mile pipe. So they were using the 1-mile pipe, which they haven't used for, I want to say 10 years. And that's where all this crap came out of.
Wow.
And that's where they were having the problems. And they explained, very interesting, it's like an airplane. This thing never shuts down, and it's constantly, they have backups for backups for backups. There's so much redundancy. But it's like trying to expand the size of an airplane while it's flying 30,000 feet above the ground. So it's a monumental task what they're doing, but it's no excuse when they totally pollute the ocean.
Yeah, I got to say, it begs the question, if they were using the 1-mile pipe and it was dumping all this crud on the beach, that means that when they're using the 5-mile pipe, they're dumping all this crud right into the ocean. There should be a law against that.
Well, you got to dump it somewhere, and they do. It was explained to me how it was all cleaned out. They have a landfill they call the farm in Kern County where all the hard matter's dumped. And regardless, it was a messy subject. I still think of that smell and want to retch. It was pretty awful.
So you're not going to make this an annual event, I guess.
No, I will not do that. Trust me. I should have taken my buddy's word for it. He asked me if I wanted to join him, and I figured yes, why not? But
hey, so
I know better now.
So listen, I sent you an article the other day because I was astounded by it, and I was hoping that you could explain it to me. And it was dealing with Li-Fi, not Wi-Fi, as a replacement. It's something that's taking place in Estonia, and maybe you could kind of enlighten me the difference between Li-Fi and Wi-Fi.
Okay. Well, somebody was joking to me, I was talking about Li-Fi, and they asked me if that was Chinese. No. I said, no, it isn't Chinese. It's the Li part of it has to do with light. And basically it's something, it's funny, Estonia, you wouldn't think that Estonia is a hotbed for technology if you didn't know better. But it actually is the Silicon Valley of Eastern Europe.
Really?
And Skype came out of Estonia.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is that a fact?
Estonia. Yes, that's a fact.
Wow.
So it's, because I did some work with some banks in Estonia, and they're talking about technology. And I said, what technology? And they started running down a list of everything that happened there. And Skype, I was really surprised.
Wow.
Came from Estonia. But to answer your question, fascinating technology. It's something I had heard about, and I saw your article. It's something that they've been experimenting with, and it's instead of Wi-Fi, it's Li-Fi, and what they're using is light to transmit data. And they discovered that they can transmit data, and I guess there's a lab in the UK that's working on this right now. But they use data. It's like LED lights, and they flicker on and off within nanoseconds. It's so fast your eye can't even see it. It's been around for about 5 years in the lab, and they're actually able in the lab to reach 224 gigabytes per second, which is frightening fast.
Wow. Well, and compare that to Wi-Fi.
Well, that's about 100 times faster than Wi-Fi.
And it's more, and I understand, more secure.
Exactly. That is the key to this. And the reason that that's so significant is Wi-Fi is so unsecure, that it's easy to hack. Yeah. And we have all these hacking issues. The beauty of Wi-Fi is because it's based on light, the range is much more limited. You can't hack it because, Wi-Fi can penetrate walls.
Yeah. Wi-Fi
is based on light, so it can't. So in terms of security, it's a brilliant solution. It opens up possibilities for, with these smart home appliances. LED light bulbs for the home, could do multiple functions, lighting up a room and creating a Wi-Fi network in the house at the same time for all the devices to talk to each other.
So in the future, you're actually seeing a place for both of these in the household.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to need Wi-Fi. I mean, except if you're in the dark, maybe. But I think Wi-Fi is going to be good on a security standpoint. For businesses, it's fabulous. For the government, it's fabulous. For the government, it may not be so fabulous. If the bad guys start using it, it's going to be tougher to, catch them.
Right.
But it's a brilliant technology, and I appreciate you sending me that article. I had been hearing about it and had been looking into it. And, I didn't know I really hadn't heard anything in the U.S. about it yet. So that was the first I had heard, but it's exciting technology, and it's LIFI. So we're going to be hearing a lot more about that. The other thing we're going to be hearing more about is VR, virtual reality.
Oh, yeah, I saw something on that, too.
Samsung is the company that was pushing that. And initially it was like $200, and now it's down to about $100. And what they're saying is it's going to give you like a 360-degree, feel when you're gaming and, I guess, streaming. So it's down to $100. So it's half the price it was. I haven't really done anything with it yet, but I'm going to have to take a look at it.
Yeah, I mean, that, that sounds interesting. It's almost, I heard someone describe that almost like, you remember the old viewfinder or viewmasters that they used to have, when you were a kid?
Oh, yes.
And I heard somebody describing this Samsung thing as being very much like a three-dimensional viewmaster, that you could just really get fantastic pictures with this thing.
Yeah, well, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Before I forget, Robert, I wanted to announce, big announcement, Solvay, our favorite T-Mobile reseller, is going under on December 4th.
Oh, really?
They're going out of business effective December 4th. They'll no longer have service available. All Solvay members need to transfer their mobile numbers to a new service provider. And we have a special deal T-Mobile's extending to them because T-Mobile was the provider that was providing service for them. So anybody can contact me, Joel at drwireless.com, for information on that. They're even going to offer a free month of service and the $10 off for I think 6 months.
Well, the smart people are going to make that change right now so they have uninterrupted service, right?
Yeah, well, they'll be uninterrupted if they make the change between now and the 4th. And there's going to be some people that are going to want to go from prepaid to postpaid, and those people should contact me because we can arrange zero-interest financing on new devices and what have you, or move them to a different carrier.
Well, we're going to a commercial in 15 seconds. Give that contact information one more time.
All right. Again, that was Joel at drwireless.com for the email address, and www.drwireless.com is our site. And we have all this information on our Facebook page, Facebook.com/drwireless.
And we're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Don't go away. He's got lots more information for you that you're not going to want to miss. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Hey, Joel, what's new out and about with wireless technology today?
Oh, God, there is so much stuff going on. I'm not going to be able to hit it all, but I'm going to try. One of the cool things I just saw is temporary tech tattoos.
I'm sorry, say that again?
How about that?
What is that, temporary?
They're temporary tech tattoos. You put them on, and they basically monitor your health and location. And there's all kinds of, applications, but it's basically like a tattoo. You just apply. So that's new. I thought, I got something that you'll laugh at. Remember you kept asking me about when I was going to upgrade my Windows computer?
Yes.
Well, I have since bought 2 or 3 Windows computers since that, but I still have the original Dell computer I've had here for years, and I got a notice about 2 hours ago saying that your Windows 10 upgrade is ready.
Oh, really? Good Lord, that's been
about 3 minutes ago. So I now have Windows 10 on my ancient Windows 7 computer. They finally sent me the upgrade that you've had for 6 months.
Why on earth? Well, first of all, why would they take so long? And second of all, knowing that you already had that available to you, because, that's how I got mine on your website, I'm surprised that you were so patient to wait for them to notify you.
Well, I was in no hurry. I was just curious how long the process took if you just made the request and didn't expedite. So we now know.
Oh, jeez. Well, you know what?
Anyhow, I got a hot tip for your users here before I forget.
Okay.
Anybody that has an Apple iPhone 5 series, which is a lot of people out there.
Yeah,
my wife, do you have one?
I have a 5S.
You have a 6?
No, I have a 5S.
Okay, listen to this one. My wife has a 5S. Great device. She happened to be checking out of, I think it was Marshall's or no, it was Ross. checking out of Ross, and right before the cash registers, they always have the Apple accessories. They have the Mophie helium charging cases. These were $100. These are the absolute best cases you can get for an iPhone, because not only do they protect the iPhone, they have a built-in charger.
That's what I have too.
These are normally $100. She bought one brand new, $14.99.
Oh, you're kidding! You know what?
$14.99. Wholesale was $80 or $85 on these. They retail for $100. These are fabulous. They will make you feel like you have a brand new iPhone, not to mention they'll give you a full battery capacity. But fabulous deal, great stocking stuffer, great Hanukkah gift, something that, to me, an ideal gift is something that you use every day, and when you use it, you think of the person who gave it to you.
Yeah.
And that's, giving
what?
somebody a $650 cell phone, great gift. But if you can give them something that's $15, it's going to give them the same feeling as giving them a $650 cell phone.
Well, when I bought mine, I bought a brand new and at the Apple Store. They pitched me on that, and I bought it because I just want to have plenty of power, and I love that thing. One of the things that it allows you to do is if you use Siri, and I do, if you don't have to actually push the button down. If you just say, "Hey Siri," she'll come on and activate as long as your phone is charging. Well, if you're using that system, your phone is always charging, so you can use that all the time.
And the other benefit of that is you have two settings on those, the green and the red. If you have it on the green, what happens is when you're using your phone during the course of the day, you're discharging the battery in the Mophie case, not the phone.
That's right.
So if you go out, for that evening, you can take your phone out of the Mophie case, so you're traveling light, put it in like a suit pocket, and it's got 100% charge.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's just fantastic. And I'm thinking, one of the things I was going to ask you is that I would go out and buy another one of those doggone things, because I'm guessing that there's only so many charges you get out of this thing, maybe 1,000 chargers, whatever it might be.
Exactly.
And go get another one, get a backup, and get ready to load it up again.
Anybody that's got an iPhone 5, 5C, or 5S should stop what they're doing and go to Ross's and buy these things. That it's a steal. The other thing they had, I almost bought a few months ago. I was in a Marshall's, and I saw the waterproof iPhone case for the 5s.
They got a kit for that?
That one it's called Life Force, I believe is the company, and the model's called Freg, F-R-E. And they're normally $80. They were $15 or $19. The only reason I didn't buy it was in hot pink, which I probably wouldn't have lost it. But my friends would have never let me live that down.
Well, no, but it would have been a great conversation starter for you. I want you to know.
Yeah, it might have been. So I mentioned that. Great gift ideas. They also have chargers and other stuff. So everybody needs that kind of stuff for their iPhone. So any Marshalls or Rosses.
So is that are you saying that's going to work on the 6S too?
No, it won't work. The chargers will, but the Mophie cases that they have are for the 5 series. 6 series, going to still set you back about $80 to $100.
Yeah, but I'm talking.
Unfortunately, the 6s and the 6Ss are the same, so that's why there isn't any discounts yet.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic though, fantastic. So yeah, but you're saying is if you go out, of course I shouldn't do that because I'm going to wait till something happens to my phone before I replace it. When I do, sure as hell, it's going to be all new stuff. I'm not going to my chargers aren't going to fit, and my cords are not going to fit, and nothing is going to fit, and I'm going to have to redo it all over again. But that just seems the way my luck in the draw here.
Well, anybody with an iPhone 5, actually, who's even thinking of selling it should go out and buy one of these because it just increases the resale value of the device, not to mention, provides a good charging solution.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I don't know if you've ever used it. I have, and I love it. I just love it.
I don't have one now, but for years I used those, the Mophie cases, and they're without a doubt the best. Fortunately, my iPhone now gives me a whole day, so I don't really need it. But I do love those. If I had one for my 6, unfortunately, when I moved to the 6, I had to give my my Mophie case to my wife. It didn't work anymore.
Yeah, you know what? That's kind of what happens with me. If I get an itch for a new phone, what'll wind up happening is my wife will get my old phone. It sounds unfair,
and it's new to her, so she's happy with it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'll take it out of the case like that, and it'll be nice and thin and look brand new, and she won't care.
You know what? Here's one you're going to like. I don't know if you heard about this. Did you hear about the U.S. government being alerted about Iranian hackers?
Yeah.
You know how they found out?
No.
You ready for this? Was it sophisticated security software, surveillance? Nope. Facebook.
Oh, you're kidding.
Facebook implemented a new government attack alert system last month.
Wow.
And they had a feeling something was going on, and sure enough, these cyber attackers are hoping to use social networking, the accounts of younger government staff to compromise, the more prominent staffers in the government, and they're busted.
Hey, well, Joel, we've got 30 seconds. I want to take this time to wish you and yours a very happy Thanksgiving. I want you to stay safe, have a great time, and think about all the things you need to be thankful for.
Likewise, Robert. Have a wonderful time for Thanksgiving for you and your family, and I'll talk to you after the holiday.
Well, before you do that, let's give out that contact information one last time.
All righty. Anybody who's got any questions about this or needs any help, Joel at drwireless.com. D as in David, R as in Rabbit, wireless.com. We are on Facebook, and that's Facebook/DR Wireless. And, again, website, www.drwireless.com.
All right, buddy. Have a wonderful holiday, and we'll talk to you next week.
Likewise.
All right, everybody, stay tuned. We got Ray Mailer. He's going to be coming up with his American Grid, and he's going to be talking about traffic congestion. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:01 p.m. Pacific Time, currently 58 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, my good buddy Ray Mailer is waiting in the wings. Let me get his introduction in here and then get him on the air with us.
Bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye and singing, "This'll be the day that I die."
And now, from the National Archives of Public Planning, located in the basement of his Long Beach Reference Library, the unappreciated but widely acknowledged expert on past, present, and future infrastructure planning, let's welcome Mr. Ray Mailer and his American Grid.
Hey, Ray, welcome aboard. Good to have you here this day before Thanksgiving. I hope you're staying safe, not safe, but safe. And I hope that I hope that you're home in Long Beach, where it's, 61 and partly cloudy, instead of, in your office in Los Angeles, where you're going to hit some kind of traffic on your way home.
Oh, don't you know how I am going to hit a bunch of traffic?
Boy, the congestion these days is absolutely horrible. It's gridlock in a lot of places, but it's been gridlock for years in Los Angeles, especially on a holiday weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, it can be amazing, and we're kind of getting a triple whammy right now with the day before Thanksgiving, and the economy's improving, and let's face it, I have a long drive to get home.
Well, you know what? Gas prices are the lowest that they've been in 8 years, which means that people are hitting the highways, which means that, you know what? You probably ought to just call your lovely wife and tell her, honey, I'm going to be working late tonight, and matter of fact, I'll probably have dinner here in town, and by the time you're done with dinner, maybe the traffic will have subsided a little bit.
Yeah, not just dinner, but maybe a couple of desserts.
Well, matter of fact, you know what? Start off with a couple of cocktails, then have dinner, then have a couple of desserts, and then maybe the booze will have worn off and you can get home okay.
Now you're talking.
So listen, I know that you want to talk about traffic congestion today. Are we talking about only here in our beautiful sunny Southern California, or are we talking about nationwide?
No, mostly in beautiful sunny Southern California, where beautiful sunny Southern California has re-emerged as the metropolitan area with the most bottlenecks.
Oh, that figures.
We were doing well there for a while, with other cities taking the lead, but the latest assessment shows us with 11 of the top 30 worst bottlenecks, and 6 of those are in the top 10.
Oh.
It's just amazing. And this particular analysis looked at things a little bit differently, which, at least for LA, I find completely appropriate, which is rather than just examining rush hour usage and then kind of assuming traffic's good off rush hour, they're evaluating 24-hour use patterns. And you won't be surprised to see that the nation's busiest freeways are right here. Our 101 appeared 4 times in the list, the 405 3 times, the 110, 10, and the 5 twice. And these would be for, several mile segments, between certain intersections. And just an amazing amount of traffic. These traffic jams represent 44 million hours of lost time each year. Worth about $1.2 billion.
Oh, wow.
So when you take a look at that and say, okay, so we're losing $1.2 billion in productivity, that sounds like a budget to build at least $1.2 billion worth of freeway improvements.
Yeah.
Just in the first year.
Well, you know what? We've talked about it before. The unfortunate thing is that one of the things that you had told me before was that they plan these freeways about 10 years in advance. The problem is when they finish them, they're already obsolete and they have more traffic than what they were built for.
Oh, and just to drive that point home, LA County Metro had this huge project to widen the 405 through the Sepulveda Pass, which, by the way, reappeared on the list. And the new carpool lanes that were added, they required 4 years to construct, 2 Carmageddons, and $1 billion. And traffic is just as bad.
Wow. Just, you just shake your head at this kind of stuff. And I got to tell you, and I hate it. And anymore, I will take a surface street before I'll take a freeway or a toll road because the toll roads are going slower than the surface streets are.
Yeah, I noticed that. I had taken, there were some toll roads that opened up on the 110 freeway. And I thought, this particular day was one of the ways I can go home. I'll try it out. And I went ahead and hopped in the carpool lane, which mostly moved pretty well. But then the carpool lane ends, a couple of miles short of the big interchange with the 405.
When it really gets plugged.
All we did was the plug is even worse now because all the carpoolers just got there faster.
Yeah.
So, and in the end, it took me the same amount of time to get home. I was just $10 poorer.
Yeah, but didn't you feel good for a while passing by all those cars?
Yeah, that was satisfying for a while.
Yeah.
Until I was like, oh boy, this is really bad now.
You know what? I used to take the 241 to the 91, right? And then when you get off that 241, the toll road, and you get on the 91, it was just stopped. Period. And you can't get from the 91 into the fast track lane because they don't have a way of accessing it from there, which was kind of stupid if you think about it engineering wise. They should have accommodated that in some way. Then you're stuck. Now if you're on the fast track, if you pick it up off the 55 or before that, and you're going on the fast track and you're waving at all those cars you're passing by, you're just flying by them. Then all of a sudden the fast track stops in the middle of nowhere, right? And if you want to get off for the 71 or you want to try and get off for the 15, you better start doing it right now because it's going to take a while because you're going to have stopped traffic on your right, and these guys are not going to let you in. You just you give them any kind of inclination what it is you want to do, and they have this inherent responsibility to keep you from doing it.
Absolutely. That's the number one complaint of tourists who come to visit us here. They're saying, I especially nice people from the Midwest, I put on my turn signal. All the guy did was close the gap.
Yeah. I've had visitors come here and they'll say they turn the turn signal in. I said, why the hell did you do that? You just let the guy know what you wanted to do. He has a responsibility to keep you from doing it.
That's why I'm a little bit disappointed to have observed that as the years go by, LA is becoming a little bit more like New York, where it's a little bit every man for himself.
But we are getting better. Road rage is down. People, now when you cut somebody off in the lane, they might give you that middle finger high sign. They might yell and scream at you, but they don't shoot you anymore.
Yeah, and I'm really glad for that improvement. That's actually. Did you ever see the movie L.A. Story with Steve Martin?
I'm sure I must have.
Okay, so it played on a lot of LA stereotypes, and one of them was as he's about to get on the freeway, he reaches into his glove box to get his gun. and his friend says, "Why are you doing that?" He says, "Oh, it's open drive-by shooting season."
I was on a cruise one time with my wife, and we were in the audience in the front row, and this comedian was up there and he was asking different questions and things like that. And I forget what the question was, something about, he was saying something about driving and that kind of stuff. And he was looking me right in the eye. He says, "How do you feel about that, sir?" I said, "Well, where I come from, you do that and they just shoot you." The whole audience knew I must have been from California. And they roared.
Oh, wow. Well, with all this talk of traffic, the LA Times did the smart thing, and they actually included an op-ed piece for directly addressing one of the biggest freeway boondoggles, in LA, throughout the LA area, which was to stop studying and just build the 710.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And yeah, which I thought was very appropriate and good timing. Good move by the editors, because I was never really sure what the LA Times position was on this issue. They would frequently favor the various obstacles to building the 710, but it seems they may be siding finally just go ahead and build the 710. The California Department of Transportation has been trying to build this 6-mile segment since 1959.
Good Lord. Jeez. Boy, you talk about fast action in Parliament, right? Good Jiminy Christmas. You know what? Your kids could have built that thing from their sandboxes long before this.
Absolutely. The estimate to build at the time was $6 million.
Oh, really? And today it is?
Today it is $5.6 billion.
Holy cow. 5,000 times more.
Yeah, exactly. Inflation, somebody studied this, inflation only counts for a tenfold increase over these 55 years. But apparently, the huge change has been property acquisition and/or tunneling costs. Those have increased by 100-fold.
Well, you know what? You would think, and you and I've talked about this, but you would think that because California is, especially Southern California, but California is kind of unique in that we don't really utilize mass transit the way they do on the East Coast and the Midwest. Heck, I mean, if you live in New York, you probably don't even own a car. You might have a driver's license, but you certainly don't own a car in most of them, because they use public transportation. But here, because Los Angeles was built flat, and now you can't tell when one city ends and another one begins, they're kind of wall to wall. They don't have the kind of public transportation utilage that they do in other parts of the country, and it's really too bad, because now you got the Metrolink and you've got the all these different things. If people would just start using these, they'd be probably surprised at how quickly they could get from one place to another and not get stuck in all these traffic jams.
Agreed. Yeah, every once in a while I get this little snapshot of just how close our various communities actually are, which is that rare event where I can go 15 miles down a freeway without slowing down, and I realized it only took me 15 minutes to get from this town to the next.
Yeah. and sometimes it's just a blink of an eye. There is this invisible line where you went from one city to another one. You didn't even realize it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
When do you leave Los Angeles and enter into Century City?
Oh, I don't know. It just kind of all blends in, right?
or Beverly Hills and Hollywood.
Yeah, I've kind of taken to explaining to folks, who know I live in Long Beach. I try to explain to them that to the old concept of taking a trip out of town is 100 miles in any direction of city driving.
That is so true. I mean, when you say that, I remember when there was actually, you had to take a drive to go from Belmont Shores to Long Beach.
Yeah, I imagine there was a time when there was some decent open space, from downtown Long Beach to the shore. Yeah, absolutely. But now it's 100 miles of city driving north, 100 miles of city driving to the south, 100 miles of city driving to the east, and I'd have to swim to go west.
Yes, not only that, whether you are driving or swimming, you are going to be in traffic.
Well, swimming, the traffic lately has been the sharks.
Well, that allows you to go. Well, speaking of which, gosh, I was absolutely shocked. I was talking to Suzette, and she was talking about you guys are shoring up for some floods out where you're at.
Well, we're all exercising a bit of caution just in case. I don't think we're expecting any floods. There's some king tide going on right now, which means the water will be a little bit higher than usual. But I don't think anybody's home is going to be flooded or anything like that.
Oh, that's good news. I was under the impression that you guys were looking for a catastrophe.
Keeping an eye out for catastrophes is a great way to avoid them.
Oh, absolutely. Preparation is everything.
Exactly, because once the water's there, not much you can do at that point.
Yeah. You know what they say about luck? Luck is nothing more than when preparation meets opportunity.
You are absolutely right. That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, mine too. So, listen, we have a minute and a half. Actually, we got 2 minutes. Forget about that. We got 2 minutes and 20 seconds before we have to take a break. And so, why don't I just let you talk about what you want to talk about, and I'll try for the next 2 minutes not to interrupt you.
Oh, okay. Well, feel free to jump in with questions, but just a little bit more about the 710 gap. It's the 6-mile piece on a 20-mile freeway that just has never been built, and it runs from a little town called Alhambra to Pasadena, and a lot of people perhaps recognize Pasadena. But it's the final piece in this core freeway network that was planned 60 years ago, and it's heavily influences the LA and Orange County areas. And its absence is felt by all the surrounding freeways that have been the alternate routes for so long that people have completely forgotten there might be a more direct way to reach that particular part of the metropolitan area. These diverted traffic burdens have directly affected the knot of freeways north of downtown LA, the 5, the 101, the 110. And by the way, those 3 areas are high on the list of nation's worst, most congested freeways. And then there are 3 main freeways that serve the San Gabriel Valley, the 60, 10, and 210. And toward the west, those are all heavily influenced by the absence of the 710. There's been a long-term economic impact to the communities in South LA County and North Orange County that, people have long since forgotten that the freeway might have something to do with it. I just know, that part of town is just tough to get to and pick your time. So that really limits, how much business or enjoyable activities you might do in that part of town. And then, towns like Alhambra have just been inundated with surface street traffic. That's kind of where the end of the main part of the 710 is at, instead of connecting to another freeway, which was the original design. So, but anyway, whenever property needs to be purchased for a public project, the projects are given the scrutiny test of the greatest public good and the least private injury. And ordinarily, that's a really good concept because you kind of imagine an isolated project. Let's make sure we're getting a big public good, and we're going to minimize the private injury. But in this case, millions and millions and generations of LA and Orange County commuters have been more than patient, examining and trying other ways to minimize this private injury for, several hundred property owners.
Well, let's hold it there, because now we're 30 seconds over. We're talking to our own Ray Mailer and about traffic congestion on his series, The American Grid. We'll be right back with Ray after these brief messages. Don't go away, folks.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Ray Mailer. We were talking about traffic congestion on his series, The American Grid, but right now we're going to get into Express West and the San Diego water surprise. I hope their surprise is a little better than the one that I got. Anyway, Ray, you've got the microphone.
Well, thanks, Bob. Yeah, let's talk a bit about Express West. We have discussed this on occasion during our segments, and this is the high-speed rail train that's supposed to run from Vegas to the LA area. And in a recent development, just last week, the Nevada state legislature formed the Nevada High-Speed Rail Authority and approved an exclusive relationship with Express West. Express West has been trying for about 10 years to get the various clearances to build a high-speed rail from Las Vegas to Victorville. And what the legislature was intending to do was to give Express West some additional legitimacy, particularly with private investors. The state didn't authorize any funds for the Nevada High-Speed Rail Authority, but it can facilitate bonds if another government entity gets involved. However, no other government entity is available at this time or interested. But the legislature is thinking that Chinese investors may be persuaded of the project's legitimacy because of the tacit government support. Apparently, that government support carries a little extra weight in the eyes of Chinese investors. That may reflect kind of a difference in perspective between the two countries, but a particular Chinese firm apparently has offered up to $100 million of capital maybe trying to figure out how to fund Express West. So this was an interesting development. I think you and I are both dreaming of the day when we could hop on a high-speed rail train, perhaps at LA Union Station, and take it either to Yosemite or Vegas.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Well, Yosemite.
Right. Yeah, the California high-speed rail will get you in spitting distance to Yosemite.
Wow.
And it would certainly help line things up. One of the dreams of the park authorities is particularly for the out-of-state, non-local visitors. That those folks would tend just to take buses to get into the park. That would help with a lot of their parking and traffic issues.
Well, and they're not allowing. Once you get to Yosemite, they have you parking your car anyway. So that's really not a big issue. But I was going to ask you, $100 million doesn't seem like it would go that far.
No, it won't go far to build it, but it's probably more than enough to get you through an environmental review process, and probably quite a bit of design engineering. Just to give you a comparison, before we were talking about the 710 gap, the environmental review process, which was mostly started afresh in 2008. That has cost $40 million so far, and it'll be about $60 million when they're all done. So assuming that the Express West's environmental review is a little less complicated than trying to get through the urban area, like we're trying to do on the 710 gap, $100 million would be more than enough to get through environmental review.
So, Ray, let me ask you, why is that so horribly expensive for an environmental review? What costs so much money?
Well, the level and depth of analysis and the amount of outreach. Usually, the environmental review process, the procurement process and agency oversight is probably almost as involved, if not more so, to get through environmental review as it is for the actual construction. There are, on a project like 710 Gap or, big thing like high-speed rail or some of our other bigger projects, you're going to have dozens of contractors and dozens of agency folks working together to figure out how to do the analyses and present to the public the various proposals for accomplishing what the public project is supposed to be. And this involves a lot of analysis, a lot of report writing, and a lot of presentation to the public, as well as receiving public feedback and responding to it. That's one of the hallmarks of the environmental review process. An agency with its contractors can go ahead and design, the perfect freeway expansion, but the people affected by it need to some degree, be on board with it. And almost without fail, the agency needs to respond to any comment, criticism, or suggestion that the public can give. On the one hand, as a citizen, I think, that's how it should be. That's great. Yeah. But it can get really burdensome, and that's definitely the situation in the 710 Gap.
And is there any fluff in there, or is it really all, it's really negotiating and talking to all the people that are involved and they're going to be affected by this? And I can understand the communications being necessary, but geez, that just seems like an astronomical amount of money for an environmental review. Even when I say that, I know that that's what they cost. I was just wondering if there was a lot of fluff in there or if it was already necessary spending.
Well, it's all necessary in that it's required by statute. So each of the sections you see in there, have been required by the state or federal statutes as they apply. If you're interested in a little bit of cost saving, there's a fair amount of overlap between the two, the federal and the state. Mm-hmm. And so there's in that case, there's a lot of copying and pasting effectively that happens between the two reports. In fact, when you see state and federal oversight of a project, our state requirements are a little bit more stringent, and you'll often see as a final step, whatever the elected body is approving the state document, and then a short time later, usually 2 to 4 weeks later, they'll approve the federal document. Mostly because it's just slightly shorter and a little bit less complicated. But like I said, it has a lot of overlap.
Yeah. So a lot of cut and paste.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But if you can get the state one through, if you're in a dual funding situation, if you can get the state one through, then, you're golden usually at that point. But it's the public comment, and in the ideal sense of participatory democracy, on paper it all sounds like a great idea, but for bigger projects, I scratch my head sometimes and think, maybe we ought to restructure the law a little bit to let the citizenry trust the agency a little bit more than we see.
Well, this is going to sound horrible, and I don't mean it to sound that way, but it's almost like they're going through the process, and by statute they're required to go through the process. But in reality, whether the public likes it or not, these agencies are going to do whatever the heck they want.
Well, not entirely. And I think the 710 gap is a fine case in point. The affected folks by that project have successfully stymied that completion of a key piece of freeway for almost 60 years. So, if you want to use that as a demonstration of the public's ability to influence a project, there is a fine example of it. Other projects, or a similar thing is happening in a different way with California high-speed rail. I mean,
before you go there, let's stay with that 710 shortfall for just a second. Mm-hmm. And so they've spent millions and millions and millions, probably billions of dollars on that 710 freeway, and it stops 6 miles short of completion. And so was that a partial waste of the billions of dollars that were spent because they didn't actually get to connect this thing for the total utilage?
Well, if in the end the 710 gap is constructed, it could be argued that all those previous environmental review efforts and all that studying, was wasted, because in the end we built it anyway.
Yeah.
You could say that, but the other argument, which I think is the more constructive one, is by the time we get to our final environmental document, which is approved and has some consensus by the citizenry, we would say then that now we're constructing it the right way, that the people,
Gotcha.
that the people will accept.
Gotcha.
Because there have been, I've lost count. It's the third or the fourth environmental review for the 710 gap over these 4 decades. And in fact, one of the things that happened in between the original plan to build this piece of the 710 was we passed these environmental review laws.
So when we do one environmental review and we wind up not taking any action or completion, and a half a decade or a decade, whatever it is, goes by, and we wind up doing another one, are we doing another one because the population has changed in that area and the effect changes as a result of that?
Well, focusing on the 710 gap, okay, so there was the grand plan, and basically all the rest of the freeway system was built while this one was getting stuck. And so what was happening as people were studying what to do with this piece of the 710 is the rest of it was being built, ultimately making almost mandatory that we do eventually build something.
Yeah.
Because the route can't be changed now because all the other freeways have been built.
Right.
So, so we started out, the first environmental review, and hopefully I'm going to remember this correctly, but first one was just a standard surface freeway, due north, right to the 210. Right through the heart of South Pasadena, through Alhambra, through Pasadena, which probably in the, 45, 50 years later would have fundamentally changed the character of these communities. It would have been a classic situation of a freeway dividing these cities. Then, in one of the later incarnations of environmental review, and one that was approved but has been thoroughly unsatisfying for anybody except people who live in South Pasadena, is to use surface transportation. So that's why we have heavily used surface streets between the two sections of the freeway that are in place. That was approved in the early 90s. Then there were a few incarnations and false starts leading to what's currently our tunnel proposal. So we're now saying we're still going going to build it, and we're going to build it on a due north alignment like we have always needed to do, and which is further cemented by the fact that that's the freeway grid. It has to go that way. Anything else just doesn't make sense. And so now we're going through a lengthy environmental review on that. And like I said, that one is running several years and $60 billion for a 4-inch thick of paper. 4-inch thick report.
So listen, we've got a million. Jesus Christ! You got me thinking in terms of millions now. We've got 1 minute and 10 seconds before we have to part. How can you wrap this up without getting stuck in the middle?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's change the water because we also occasionally talk about the brand new desalination plant in San Diego, and there's an interesting development. Would you believe that San Diego's reservoirs are full, and they're about to take much less water than they are currently allowed by law from MWD and other sources? And mostly because they need to save space for the water being produced by the desalination plant that's going to open next month.
Wow.
Yeah, so believe it or not, the San Diego area is in great condition for water reservoirs. But here's the rub. The desalinated water costs more than the imported water. And so San Diego water customers are going to be paying more for their water, I think about $5 a month per household, because they're obligated to purchase this desalinated water.
Which doesn't sound like much, but it's really millions and millions of dollars, isn't it?
It is, and it kind of it helps get the desal plant off to a strong start, and all their financing works out. And I believe the San Diego County Water Authority's perspective on this was, in the long run, we do need this desal plant that's going to produce almost 10% of the area's water needs as a supplement to the imported water from MWD. And the San Diego County kind of taking that long-term view, so they went ahead and entered into that agreement. But the great irony is, while the rest of us throughout the state, have low reservoirs because of the drought, San Diego's actually flush with water. They've got plenty right now.
Well, you know what? Good for them. Listen, having gone there, we're a minute over. I want to wish you the very safe and happy Thanksgiving. We've all got a lot to be thankful for. You and your family enjoy a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving, and think of a lot of great memories and a lot of things that you have to be thankful for.
Well, thank you, Bob, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
All right. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to be doing the birthdays for today, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, It may be in reach right now from Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time, currently 57 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, it's on its way down to 40 degrees, and it's going to be a chilly evening this evening, so you guys want to make sure you're all bundled up really nice. Well, let's get right to it. Let's talk about the Harvard Business Tip of the day, and the management tip today is become a leader by thinking like an owner. Yep, you heard me right. You know, in our jobs, we often give our opinion from a functional or departmental point of view. In other words, from a limited perspective. We may do it because we don't have access to additional information or because we believe that bordering our perspective simply isn't part of our job. And in some situations, a narrower point of view is appropriate. But leaders have to have a high-level perspective. They must think through an issue from all sides and weigh the needs of various stakeholders. So if you want to become a leader in the future, start thinking like one right now. If you were the boss or even the company's owner, what kinds of problems and opportunities would you need to consider? Who would you need to seek input from? Thinking like a leader doesn't mean having all the answers, but it does mean always keeping the bigger picture in mind. Yep, that's what a leader does. Now, that's just good advice, folks. All right, you know what? Let's talk about the secret daily teachings for your life. You know, this is a positive mental attitude segment, and I promise you, I tell you, this really works. If you can get rid of all those negative thoughts that you have and just replace them with positive thoughts, your life is going to be changed. It'll be amazing. You won't believe how much you can change your life. Well, the secret for today is powerfully intend to attract something small. Starting with something small like a cup of coffee or parking spaces is an easy way to experience the law of attraction in action. As you experience the power that you have to attract, you will move on to creating much bigger things. Just think about it. You ever been in a parking lot where you turned in and you said you knew you were going to find a place, and sure enough, there was one place there just for you? There's a lot of examples you could have for that, but that's one of them. A positive mental attitude is exactly what you need. Well, you know what today is. Sure you do, and I do. Today is Wednesday, November the 25th, and it is somebody's birthday. And you know what? We've got some great birthdays today. The first one, Jeffrey Skeeling. He was born in 1953, a former president of Enron Corporation. In 2006, he was convicted of multiple federal felony charges relating in the financial collapse. But now, let's get to some interesting ones. This guy was born in 1960, died in 1999, was the 35th president of the United States, serving from 1961 until his assassination in 1963. Happy birthday, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Jr. And here's two people born on the same day. That would be November the 25th. They were born at the same time. They were born in 1981. Daughters of George W. Bush and Laura Bush. Yep, the twins, Barbara and Jenna Bush. Happy birthday. Well, what happened today in history on November the 25th? 1867. Alfred Nobel patents dynamite. Yep. And in 1963, President John F. Kennedy is buried at Arlington National Cemetery. Yep. And in 1975, Suriname gains independence from the Netherlands. And then finally, in 1984, 36 top musicians gather in a Notting Hill studio and record Band-Aid's Do They Know It's Christmas in order to raise money for famine relief in Ethiopia. And finally, the quote for today comes from Emily Dickinson. She says that love is all there is all we know of love. Yeah, absolutely. And the cure for love is marriage. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Actually, I should have never said that. That's a bad thing to say. Let's talk about those interesting but useless facts. You know, for some reason I hit the wrong button. There we go. Now, did you know that jellyfish are 95% water? But boy, they ever sting you, you'll know what that other 5% is. Yeah. And did you know there are millions, or at least 1 million ants for every person on Earth? 1 million ants for every person on Earth. Wow. And females have 500 more genes than males do, and because of this are protected from things like color blindness and hemophilia. Wow, can you imagine? How lucky could they be? Maybe, I guess, sort of. Well, here's one for you. A baby turkey is called a poult. A group of lions is known as a pride, and a group of hogs is a herd. Now, geese in collection are a gaggle, and when in the air, they are a skein. A gathering of foxes is referred to as a skunkle, a gathering of quail as a covey. A baby kangaroo is a joey, and a baby fish is a fry. Yeah, go figure. Yeah, I'm not going to go there. Do you know that wearing headphones for an hour increases the bacteria in your ear 700 times? There, that's a scary thought. I wear headphones 2 hours a day, at least, 5 days a week, at least. So give that some thought. How about this? Did you know that the first winner of the Academy Award for Best Picture and the only silent film to achieve that honor was the 1927 film Wings? Yes. And let me give you another one here. You know, everyone thought Albert Einstein suffered from dyslexia because he couldn't speak properly until he was 9 years old. Yeah, there's a fact for you. And diet soda kills brain cells because they use so many chemicals to make it diet. Now, that's something I didn't know. That's a scary thought, if you think about it. And let me leave you with this one. The penguin is the only bird that can swim but cannot fly. Give that some thought. Now, in the meantime, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to answer your emails. The first email that I have is from Isabella Garcia from New Brighton, Minnesota. She's asking about mileage reporting, and I'm going to tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Don't go away, folks.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:53 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 57 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, we're coming down to the wire. Time for me to answer your emails. But before we do that, I want to make sure that you know that this is an entertainment section of this show, and it's based. The information that I give you is based on the information you give me, and sometimes that's just a little sketchy. So we always encourage you to contact a licensed professional before you go off and do anything. They're going to save you more money than they cost you, and they're going to give you peace of mind. You'll be glad that you did that every single time, I promise you. Now, let's get to these emails. The first email I have is from Isabella Garcia from New Brighton, Minnesota, asking about mileage reporting. And she says, I'm a bookkeeper for a firm whose key employee says it's too time-consuming to keep detailed driving records, so we estimate her driving and reimburse her the same amount for it every month. But how do I record and report this? Everyone else provides detailed driving records. You know, great question, Isabella, and you may not like what I'm going to say. You will have to report the reimbursement paid to the key employee on her W-2 as taxable wages to her. Now, the tax rules are very clear that tax-free reimbursement is available only when specific records are kept reporting the date, destination, and business purpose of driving on a per-trip basis. Now, estimating, as you described, is not permitted. Now, here's some details for you. See the rules for how to report reimbursements under the headings accountable plans and non-accountable plans in IRS publication 463. That's travel, entertainment, gift, and car expenses. And you'll find out everything you need to know from that. Now, my next email comes from Keegan Greco from Raleigh, North Carolina, asking about infant Social Security numbers and says, I had a new baby at the end of the year, but due to a paperwork foul-up, have yet to receive a Social Security number for her. How do I claim her as a dependent on my tax return? Great question, Kagan. And the answer is the law requires that a Social Security number be provided for every child who is claimed as a dependent on a tax return. But there is an easy fix for your situation. Prepare your return as you would otherwise, but if you don't get that Social Security number by April the 15th, file an extension with an accompanying payment if there's any tax due. Now, when the Social Security number finally arrives, simply fill it in on the return and mail it to the IRS. That'll take care of it. And if you don't get it in time on the extension, you just know that that extension will go till October, so don't even worry about it. You always can amend that return and get it taken care of if you do it within 3 years. Now, next email comes from Samuel Griffin from Grand Rapids, Michigan, asking about charitable contributions and says, if the amount I deduct on my tax return for items such as charitable contributions is a lot larger this year than it was in past years, will this red flag my return for an audit? Well, Sam, the answer is no. IRS computers do not flag a return for audit on the basis of year-to-year changes in the taxpayer's deductions. However, they do flag returns on which deductions for particular items are much larger than the average for taxpayers in that income level. But even that shouldn't deter you from taking legitimate deductions. Simply make sure you keep all of the required documentation to support them should the IRS question them. You know what? Everybody has to pay their fair share of taxes, but not one god-awful penny more. So just keep that in mind. Now, my last email comes from Tony Guerrera from Akron, Ohio, asking about a tax-free home sale, and writes, we sold our home last year after living in it for many years, so our gain should be tax-free, but we just received a copy of a Form 1099-S that reports all the sales proceeds, more than $100,000 to the IRS. How do we handle this? Well, Tony, here's the deal. Do not worry. The 1099 was sent out by mistake, and your gain is still going to be tax-free up to $250,000 or $500,000 if it's on a joint return if you met the 2 out of 5 year residency requirement. Now, technically, you don't even have to report it on your tax return, but if a 1099 reporting more than $100,000 has been filed, IRS computers are going to expect to find a matching amount on your return and are going to flag it for attention if they don't see that. The simplest thing to do is report the sale on Schedule D of your return, add a note explaining what happened, then subtract an offsetting Section 121 exclusion amount, so no taxable gain results. Hopefully, that'll take care of all your problems and you won't have to worry about it at all. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, we're on the Pundit Press, PNN Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio with John Matthews and the Conservative Syndicate as we do a broadcast on Mondays and Fridays from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where you get all the emails that I deal with here on the show. On my next show, Sean LaFave continues his series, Geared for Wellness, and I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. In the meantime, I want you all to have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Stay safe, will you?
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody. I hope you had a great show. You enjoyed the show today. We enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join us again tomorrow from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. You, your family, stay safe, stay happy. Think about all the wonderful memories that you can be thankful for. And with that, I just want to say good night, everybody.